Hello. So today I'll be sharing with us another quick training guide on how to change your SharePoint domain name. So basically, organizations can purchase a domain name at the point of creation of your Microsoft 365 tenant, and possibly the domain name may be captioned. It could be abc.com, okay, or abc.microsoft.com. So maybe after a while, the company now decides to change the domain name from abc.microsoft.com or abc.com to cba.microsoft.com or cba.com. So it's quite a very easy step. Okay, it's the step is basically easy, and also it's straightforward. However, you would have to note that there are certain prerequisites you need to, and also limitations that you need to take note of. Okay, before carrying out this process. And firstly, we're going to be talking about we'll be reviewing the Microsoft article just so we can understand everything that is required from the start and to the finish in terms of its prerequisites and the limitations thereof. So now let us just go through this article. When you first signed up for Microsoft 365, you created an on Microsoft.com domain. Even if you later add a custom domain, the original on Microsoft.com domain is used for your SharePoint and OneDrive URLs. So this is a fact that we need to note, right? So you can always read up this very PowerPoint slide. That's more like that explained the above paragraph. And now straight into the main issue, or straight into the main scenario. So this feature is currently available to organizations that have no more than 10,000 total SharePoint sites and OneDrive accounts combined together. So what this explicitly means is a combination of all your SharePoint sites and your OneDrive sites should not be more than 10,000 in order for this very domain change to take effect on your tenants. Okay. However, there are also different limitations that you would have to also note regarding this very issue. And such kind of limitations basically cut across different different bullet points that would have to note. All right. Now, at first, we're going to review the first one, which says this change affects only SharePoint and OneDrive URLs. It doesn't impact email addresses. So that is a quick note regarding this change. Now, there is another point I would like to also note. It says this feature isn't available for organizations that have set up multi-geo. So what is the meaning of multi-geo tenants? Now, a multi-geo tenant basically has to do with you having to use one tenant to manage different regions. For example, you can have a multi-geo tenant that's holding its data center in the UK, right? And also, it definitely would have the users that are basically making use of that resource. Now, on the same tenants, you would also have another location where users are having to access resources from Germany. So I'm just using that as an instance. Okay. So you have UK, you have Germany, they are all on one tenant. That is known as a multi-geo tenant. Of course, it's a different discussion altogether if you want to understand how multi-geo tenant works. So it's a different discussion altogether. Maybe subsequently I can talk about that. So now there's another point I would like us to note regarding this very change. It's also stated explicitly that when you change this domain name, you cannot revert that change again. So so having to revert that change is not supported. So it said changing your domain name back to the original name after you rename it isn't supported. So once you've changed from ABC to CBA, that's it. It's you will be unable to for now. Maybe subsequently Microsoft can make provision to how you can actually revert that change, but for now it is not being supported. All right. So there is another point I would like us to note. All right, there's another point that I would like us to note regarding this very change. Now it says that only the domain name portion in URL is changed. So only the domain name. So if the domain name is abc-admin.sharepoint.com, so it's basically just that domain name. So since we are changing from ABC to CBA, so you are now going to have cba-admin.sharepoint.com. So that is it. Okay. So now another thing we are going to okay, that's just basically what we'd have to have a look at. Okay, so maybe at your own time you can have a look at this article to further understand the other limitations and some prerequisites that covers this very domain name change for SharePoint and OneDrive. Okay, now so we'll just go straight down to the business. Step one, it says add the new domain name. So there are different levels or different steps at which you can actually start and complete this very process. Okay. The first one says add the new domain name. Once you've added the new domain name, you'll be required to use some PowerShell command that's saying sets SPO tenant rename. Okay, start SPO tenant rename domain, and then you just follow this PowerShell command templates. And once you input it in PowerShell, you would have to schedule that tenant change to take effect 24 hours prior to when you initiated that change. Okay, so you have, let's say for example, I'm setting up that change for maybe I'm setting up that change for 1 p.m. Now, I want this change has to take effect 1 p.m. the following day. So that's what it means, 24 hours window. Okay? So that is it. So that's all that is required. And then after 24 hours, you can come back to verify, to check if that very PowerShell command has taken effect on your Microsoft, on your SharePoint Admin Center. Okay, so that's all we need for now. So we'll just go straight to the lab scenario for this very training. So this is me. I've logged into my Microsoft 365 admin portal, and then I'm going straight to my Azure Active Directory. I always prefer to just go to portal.azure.com, and then I'll click enter. Okay, just gonna confirm the domain name and the accounts credentials I'm logging into, and it has to be your global admin accounts. Okay, before you can actually carry out this change, I will recommend that you use a global admin account and not a SharePoint admin account. The reason is because, of course, a SharePoint admin account can also do that, but the reason why I would always prefer a global admin is the global admin, more like he has a global admin rights across all Microsoft 365 services that you have on your tenants. But for SharePoint admin, its admin rights is restricted. Okay, so that's why I would always recommend a global admin account. So now we will just also log into portal.azure.com. We just go to Azure Active Directory. So once you go to Azure Active Directory, you would just have to scroll down from here. You would see the portion that says custom domain names. Okay, so just click on custom domain name, and then it's going to tell you add custom domain name. Okay, so I'm going to add another custom domain name, which is the first prerequisites, which is the first instruction, the step one. If you scroll down, it would say add a new domain name. Okay, so sometimes it will tell you, okay, click here, this link will automatically, I'll just copy the link. When you click on this link, let me paste it, it will automatically take you to this portal that we are on. So let us just confirm that so you can see. Okay, it's still loading. Okay, still loading. Good. So you can see it's taking you back to the same portal. So there is no difference. Okay. So now I'll just come here. My initial domain name is 8xz 8tm, right? So I will just change it to 8xz 8tn. Okay. Dot on Microsoft.com. So because if you just type only 8xz 8tm, of course you can add, at this point this is where you are going to add your own preferred domain name. So I just want to have a unique name, having noted my previous domain name. Okay, so I will just say 8xz 8tn instead of n. So it's saying a domain extension is required. So just type dot on Microsoft.com. Now, there is a mistake that people do make based on experience having to actually support different customers across the globe regarding this particular change of domain name. Most customers just go straight to, instead of having to add the .microsoft.com top level domain, they would prefer to, they would, instead of adding this very top level domain .microsoft.com, they would just go straight to adding, if it is .com domain, right, they'll just go straight to adding your domain name .com. So it's advisable, or it is mandatory, that you add the suffix on Microsoft.com. So it is very, very mandatory. So how do I mean? Now look at it here. That brings us to the next step. Select add custom domain. In the custom domain name box, enter the full on Microsoft.com domain. So this is very important and it is mandatory if you want this process to work. All right, good. So then we'll just select add. You can see it has on Microsoft.com suffix. So now we'll then further proceed. Once I've added this, I will say add domain. It's trying to verify the domain. Oh, so what this good means that there is no Microsoft 365 tenant that has this domain suffix. It's XZ, it's TN at the moment. Okay, so it is just basically available, or it is available for use on this tenant. All right, so that is it. And then the next thing we are going to do is to now check the article. Let us check the article to see what is required of us to do next. So you would have to connect to the Microsoft 365 tenants. So we are just going to launch our PowerShell now. Okay, so I've launched my PowerShell. So once you launch your PowerShell, you're going to connect first to the SharePoint Admin Center. Connect hyphen SPU service. All right, and then press enter. Now it is requesting for the URL. I'll say https :/ it's xn it's tm -admin .sharepoint.com. Let me just double check. It's xn it's in this sharepoint.com. All right, it's going to pop up for you to verify your credentials. So this is the account that I'm using. It's xn.microsoft.com. I'll just click on it and now it's requesting for password. I'll just put in my password. All right. So I am currently signed in. So how can you confirm that yes, that you've successfully signed in? You can type get SPO sites. Press enter. You can see this is the list of all my sites, all the sites that I have on these tenants. Okay, which is a good one indeed, which means that you have successfully logged in. Now, the next process or the next step will be to run this very command that is going to initiate the domain change. So start SPO tenant rename, domain name, okay, domain name. So what is the new domain name you are changing it to? I am changing it to 8xz8tn. Okay, that is the new domain name that I'm changing it to. Schedule dates 2023 2nd of 11. That is as at my time, as at the time I did this video, which is 11th of February. And now as at this time, which is 2:20, and then I'm going to just initiate run scripts. Okay, so I'll just highlight everything and I'll click on run selection. Oh, there's an error. It is saying the string is missing. The string is missing the terminator. So let us review the script to know what's actually going on. Start SPO tenant rename domain. That's your domain name hyphen scheduled. Yes. Oh, okay. I need to I need to actually add the closing bracket, the closing invited comma. Okay, so that's it. And then I'm going to proceed now to run again, run selection, and it's saying, do you want to perform this action? And I said yes to all, and it's saying, oh, there's another error. Start SPO tenant rename, error code -772, schedule time date must be 24 hours in the future, which is what I had earlier explained, that it must be 24 hours in the future. Of course, I intentionally altered this PowerShell just so you can see the different errors you might get. So once by the time you see these errors, you can be able to understand what is actually happening and how you are able to actually resolve those PowerShell errors. Okay, so these two errors are at least the major errors you can get. It's telling you that, oh, you're not following the right step, you have to put it 24 hours into the future, or oh, there's a string missing, you need to add a string. So this is me here. I will just proceed to change this to 11, okay, which is the next day, and then this I'll just change it to 30. Okay, so now this process should work now. So run scripts, yes to all. It's going to, once it has completed, it's going to show you the rename job ID. So this is the rename job ID with the correlation ID, DB, blah, 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 and that is it. So this process has been completed. All you just have to do is to check back again by the time you executed this very tenant rename or tenant domain name change. Check back again the following day. That's 24 hours upon counting from the time you actually initiated this domain name change. I hope these have been very, very informative to you. Thank you very much, and then I look forward to having to discuss further quick guys with us again. Have a safe one, have a great one, and bye for now.